Have you ever wondered how these fluffy little creatures that laze around, ignore us, and occasionally bless us with a head bump ended up becoming our close companions? Believe it or not, cats have one of the most fascinating histories of all domestic animals. Today we're taking a deep dive into the journey of cats, from worshipped deities in ancient Egypt to rulers of the internet and our hearts in modern times. Let's start with ancient Egypt about 4,000 years ago. Imagine the scene: the scorching sun, majestic pyramids, and cats. Lots and lots of cats. In ancient Egypt, cats weren't just beloved pets, they were divine beings. Egyptians held cats in such high regard that harming a cat even by accident could be punishable by death. Why were Egyptians so obsessed with these creatures? First, let's talk about Bastet, the Egyptian goddess with the head of a lioness or domestic cat. Bastet was the goddess of home, fertility, and protection. People believed that by keeping cats around, they were also inviting Bastet's protection into their homes. Egyptians were convinced that cats had magical qualities, especially when it came to keeping evil spirits away. And let's not forget their practical role. Cats were excellent hunters, keeping crops and grain stores free of rats and mice. This love for cats was so intense that it affected military strategy. When Egypt was invaded by the Persians under Cambyses II, they cleverly exploited the Egyptians' love of cats. Persian soldiers painted images of cats on their shields and supposedly even released cats onto the battlefield, knowing Egyptians would avoid risking harm to them. The Egyptians had no choice but to surrender rather than endanger their sacred creatures. From here, let's see how cats spread beyond the Nile. By the time of ancient Greece and Rome, cats had already traveled far and wide. Trade routes carried them from Egypt to Europe, where they were prized for their hunting skills. Rats and mice were common on ships and in homes, and cats quickly earned their place by taking care of these pests. In Greece, philosophers were fascinated by cats. Aristotle himself called them obscure and inscrutable. The Greeks loved studying animals, and cats offered a new, mysterious creature to ponder over. However, it was in Rome that cats started to be more than just hunters. Romans admired cats for their independence and even associated them with freedom. For the Romans, cats became symbols of liberty, possibly because they couldn't be trained or controlled like dogs. They earned a reputation as proud and untamed, an image they've kept to this day. But it wasn't all smooth sailing for cats. The Middle Ages brought dark times. In Europe, cats, especially black cats, became associated with witches, magic, and the occult. Many people believed that witches could transform into cats to spy on people or even harm them. Cats were seen as companions to witches, and people genuinely thought they had supernatural powers. The hysteria reached a point where thousands of cats were killed out of fear. Ironically, this led to a spike in the rodent population, which helped spread diseases like the bubonic plague. Cats, it turns out, were saving humans from pests all along, but this association with the dark arts haunted them for centuries. Meanwhile, across the world in Asia, cats had a very different story. In China, they were celebrated as protectors against evil spirits and were believed to bring good fortune. In Japan, we have the famous Maneki Neko, or beckoning cat, that's said to attract good luck and prosperity. You'll see these little statues waving from shop windows, homes, and businesses all over Japan. The folklore behind the Maneki Neko is delightful. One story tells of a cat raising its paw to save a samurai from a lightning strike, thus securing its status as a lucky symbol. In both China and Japan, cats were seen as wise, gentle, and protectors of the home. They weren't viewed with the suspicion they faced in Europe. In fact, in some Japanese temples, statues and murals of cats were believed to guard sacred spaces from evil forces. Even today, the association of cats with luck and protection remains strong in many Asian cultures. Moving forward in time, let's visit Victorian England, where cats underwent yet another transformation. Queen Victoria, one of the most influential figures of the era, adored cats. She not only kept them as pets, but openly spoke of her admiration, which spread the idea that cats were elegant, desirable companions. This led to a cat craze among the British upper class, who began importing breeds from around the world. Persian and Siamese cats were among the first popular breeds in England, and they were prized for their exotic looks and calm demeanor. In fact, Victorian England saw the start of formal cat breeding, and the first ever cat show was held in London in 1871. Breeding cats for specific looks and personalities became a trend, and suddenly cats weren't just valued for their pest control skills, they were family members, companions, and even status symbols. Now here we are in the modern era. Cats have become one of the most popular pets worldwide, with around 90 million cats in US households alone. And in case you hadn't noticed, they've taken over the internet. From Grumpy Cat to Maru to Neon Cat, they rule social media, streaming platforms, and our hearts with their quirky personalities and adorable antics. Today's cats have different personalities that reflect the traits their ancestors were prized for: independence, mystery, loyalty, and a touch of aloofness. Whether they're sleeping on your laptop, knocking things off your desk, or simply ignoring you, cats know they have us wrapped around their paws. So why do we still love them after thousands of years? Maybe it's because they're unpredictable, a bit like miniature wild animals right in our living rooms. Or maybe it's that soft purr, those big curious eyes, or the way they seem to love us on their own terms. Whatever the reason, from being gods in Egypt to our favorite memes online, cats have always found a way to capture our hearts. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time, from ancient gods to modern-day purr machines. If you enjoyed learning about the fascinating history of our feline friends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible animal stories. After all, who knows what other mysteries our pets hold? And remember, to a cat, we're all just here to serve them. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way.